We have a multi-pronged approach to what is a very dynamic situation. We are addressing it across the Department of Homeland Security, across the federal government, with our state and local partners, and with our partners and allies south of our border. First, we are surging resources to the southwest border: personnel, facilities, medical resources, transportation. Second, we are improving the efficiency of our processing without compromising the security and integrity of our screening and vetting of individuals. We're a nation of immigrants, and we are also a nation of laws, and we enforce the law, and we will continue to do so.
Surging prices. Is this the right time to rent or buy a home? Amber Heard and the MeToo movement. Is this the end of the MeToo movement going forward? And Title 42. How will that affect our southern border? It is Monday, May 23rd, 7:03 a.m. This is Good Morning Brownsville, and my name is Frankie Olivo. Now, again, I pride myself in this segment, and the reason why y'all are here, as much as I wish that y'all would be here for my likeness, it is time for the weather. We did have some scattered showers yesterday. In Los Fresnos, did see a good amount of rain. Here in Brownsville, we got some rain, some drizzle, and as always much needed. Currently, right now in the city of Brownsville, it is 73 degrees. The highs for today is 90. So it is going to be a hot day. We should be expecting some rain. Again, we did receive some scattered showers yesterday, but for the most part, we should be having some sort of rain. There is a combination of a cold front with some rain that we should be expecting midweek. The cold front should be coming on Thursday, if we were to see one. But again, it is going to be a hot Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with scattered showers and the cold front. As of right now, if anything changes, the cold front will be on Thursday. Also, the city of Brownsville is having a hurricane prevention fair tomorrow at the sports park from 4 to 7. If anybody would like to attend, my first thought was, how can we prevent a hurricane? It's not so much preventing a hurricane. It's much more about awareness, what we should do, and how we could prepare for an event such as a hurricane. In the city of Brownsville, we have yet to see a significant hurricane, thank God. But we know that we're bound to get one. It's been several years since we've been fortunate enough not to get one. So it's only a matter of time before we do. In health news, recently, everybody was up in arms when we got word from a leaked document from the Supreme Court that Roe versus Wade might get revoked, might get repealed by the Supreme Court justices. As we all know, living in America, we have the ability to do as we please with our body. Women have been strong proponents, and we also feel that women should be the ones to decide what happens with their body. My body, my choice. Well, since the announcement of the repealing of Roe versus Wade, the discussion has now come to the forefront about, well, what are men doing? What are men doing about their health care? Vasectomies. Vasectomies is something that is not too common in society today. For the most part, we have heard about women who after a certain amount of kids, or maybe just after the experience of having kids, they say, you know what? I am done. I'm going to close shop. I'm going to get my tubes tied. I no longer want to reproduce. That has been the common the common practice among women. The very first time that I heard of a vasectomy was in middle school, when I noticed that my teacher wasn't in class for a while, and I asked the question, what's going on with teacher X? And they said, well, he had a procedure, he had a surgery. I asked him, sir, what's wrong? He said, I had a vasectomy done. And I said, well, what is that? And he said, well, it's the male version of getting your tubes tied. He says, I have one kid, and this is in middle school, mind you. I have one kid, and that's all I want to focus on and put my attention to. But we have seen the rise in the discussions of vasectomies. Now, the interesting thing is that women again have been fighting for years to be able to have control, and it's all about control. That's all we want. We want equality. We want to be able to control our bodies. Now, vasectomies, it is said that it is just as safe, if not safer, than having these procedures done on women. It is stated that women are twice as likely to get sterilized, but the fact is that vasectomies done by men is safer, effective, and many of the times a lot cheaper to get this done. Now, again, are we in a time where things are changing? Absolutely. Before it was always the role of the women, it seemed, that society have placed regarding their body and making sure that they are well taken care of. But now the attention turns to men. Is this something that we are accustomed to hearing? No. Again, for the most part, predominantly, it's always been women. Women are the ones. We as men, is it a macho thing? Is it a Mexican thing, a Latino thing, where we expect the women to take care of their bodies? Of course, we want them to, but we pass on that responsibility to them. Well, now, ever since there is a possibility in Texas, as we all know, Texas right now is one of the most vocal, most influential state in the nation. And we have seen how Texas, with Governor Abbott recently announcing that there was a law, SB 8, that deputizes citizens to report abortions with a possibly up to $10,000 to be paid for that report. Things have gotten crazy that now the citizens of Texas are becoming bounty hunters. We had a case in Stark County where some woman crossed international lines into Mexico, took a pill, came back. She had an induced labor, an abortion, because the baby was ultimately gotten rid of, killed, was deceased because of that pill. She was arrested, and there was an uproar. Hey, my body, my choice. And there was some murky details regarding what the state could prove and could not. But the ultimate question is, are we changing as a society? Are we moving towards the modern age where it's not just women? We're not just going to depend on women. Now men have equal responsibility to take notice of their health care and to be proactive on this. Now, countries such as China, they are now preventing individuals from reproducing. I think the limit is 2 children in China. Again, they have an abundance of love over there, it seems. But here in the United States, with abortion, are we starting to see how men will be probably more open to these types of procedures? And again, it's all about equality. It's all about fairness. We want the women to have their right to control their bodies. Now, are we going to do our part as men? Are we going to say, you know what, we are with her? If these females cannot practice or cannot get a proper abortion procedure done in the state of Texas, maybe it's upon us men to take that next step and say, hey, well, I'm going to do what's right. And since the state of Texas is enforcing abortion, and it seems as if the United States is going to give back the power back to the states, we might have to be proactive about this. So vasectomy has come into the question and has brought to light the importance of equality, because at the end of the day, that is what we all seek in this democratic society. We all want to be equal. Well, are we being equal by giving on the role and responsibility of proper health care just for women, or is reproduction, obviously it takes two to tango? How many of us men will take that next step towards vasectomy? If we do want to prevent abortions, if we do want to sway away from giving that responsibility towards women, is this something that we will be seeing in the near future? It seems that way. Again, we are all in support of women, their body, their choice. Even though we have our own religious beliefs, it does not give me the authority uh, to judge and to tell a woman what she should do with her body. So, men, will men be looking at a change in this procedure where more men will be having this done to prevent these women from going across to Mexico or doing unhealthy procedures to get rid of that baby? It seems that is uh, the way it is going. And in pop culture, a few weeks ago, we talked about the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case. All eyes are on this case, it seems, and America has already developed into Team Johnny or Team Amber. We pose the question: is it possible for men to be victims of domestic violence? And we can all agree, yes, we have seen cases where, predominantly we do hear that women are the victims of domestic violence. But at the same time, men could also be victims of domestic violence. And we have seen and heard testimony from both sides throughout the duration of this trial. And it is unfortunate to see how a couple who once was full of love and endearment now are taking jabs at each other. One thing that came to mind was how the media has been portraying Amber Heard. And look, I'm not saying that Johnny Depp is an angel. We have seen throughout the duration of the trial how this has been a very toxic relationship, and we can both agree. There have been times where I believe Johnny Depp did headbutt Amber Heard when he was, under the influence of narcotics and alcohol, while he claims that it was an accident. We can both agree that this relationship was a toxic one. When you involve drugs, when you involve alcohol, it tends to lead to not a pretty sight. We have heard testimony about how allegedly there was on the pillows of Johnny Depp's, and that has turned into a meme. It is not Amber Heard no more; it is Amber Turd. And the thing that I have not liked about this is that we have made this into a game. Now, this woman, in my opinion, will struggle the rest of her life. She's always going to be known as that woman that defecated on Johnny Depp's pillow. It is unfortunate how this series of events will affect her in her life. She has already lost the roles of Aquaman 2 that was set to begin. And this all started back in 2018. In 2018, she made the allegations that she was part of domestic abuse at the hands of Johnny Depp. And who could forget 2018? That was the time of the MeToo movement. People such as Bill Cosby, the producer Weinstein. We heard about these stories where these women were forced into sexual acts at the hands of these powerful men. And we heard, women come out of the woodworks and said, you know what, me too. And what did that cause? That caused a change in the way we view equality, the way we view sex in the industry. But throughout this trial, we have seen how the media has portrayed Amber Heard as an evil woman. We have seen the likes of Johnny Depp's attorneys, how they have grilled her on the stand and they have caught her in many lies. It was alleged, it was stated that from her divorce in the UK, that she stated that she will donate $7 million to nonprofit organizations that focused on hunger, on troubled teens, on nonprofits that did well for society. Well, it comes out that at the duration of the trial, she has not fulfilled her obligations with those 7 million. So the lawyers for Johnny Depp have slowly turned her into an evil woman, a liar, somebody who used this MeToo movement to try and get back at Johnny Depp. That she was not the victim of domestic violence, but it was her that was manipulative and controlling of the situation and wanted to do a hit job on Johnny Depp. That is what the lawyers of Johnny Depp have been portraying. And let me tell you, they have been doing an excellent job at it, because all we could hear on the web is poor Johnny Depp. That Amber Heard is an evil woman. And it got me thinking, is this the end of the Me Too movement? And the reason why I say this is because women are watching this. Women are saying, she came out, she was vocal about the abuse, whether it be sexually, mental abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse. As we all know, those are the traits that women go through, and that men possess over these women. They control them with their words. They control them with their actions. They beat them. Is this the end of the Me Too movement? And you could say, well, no. How would that be? And the reason being is because now they're calling Amber Heard a liar. Now they're saying, you know what? She made this up. She fabricated this. She wanted attention. She was riding that Me Too wave. And what are women doing? They're observing. They're saying, hey, if I can't come and be public about the situation, am I going to be the next Amber Heard? Am I going to be an individual that is going to be ridiculed in the media by my friends and say, you know what? I don't believe her. This doesn't sound right. Again, we encourage women who do suffer from verbal, mental, physical, sexual abuse to seek help. This is not something that is normal. And many times in our lives, we go through this as young children and teenagers, and we think that is the norm because our parents did that, or our loved ones did that to someone we care about. So we feel that is the norm in society, and it's not. It really is not. And we do need to break that cycle moving forward if you do want to live a happy life, one that is not done in fear. And we do encourage women. We do have a great organization here, the Friendship of Women, that does a great job to assist women in seeking help, in leaving that broken home and trying to get them on their feet, providing housing, providing toiletries, providing food, providing anything possible to make sure that these women and families, more importantly, are safe moving forward. But is this the end of the Me Too movement? Is this going to cause women to say, you know what? I don't know. I don't want to go through what Amber Heard did. And again, I understand this is on the main stage. You know, these two are very high prolific actors, entertainers that the world is watching. And we might not get the same attention as they do, but the focus is still on the idea of women being vocal about sexual abuse, women being vocal about being mentally, verbally, and physically abused. Why? Because they should not go through that. Is that going to affect women moving forward? I believe so. It is unfortunate how we have heard throughout the duration of the trial. And look, this has been a toxic relationship. We have heard how individuals have stated the nastiest things. You know, Johnny Depp was on the record of saying, you know, ugly things about Miss Heard and her corpse. Society has divided, has been divided. Are you Team Amber? Are you Team Depp? And we have seen how, for the most part, predominantly, Johnny Depp has been getting the support. But what does this happen with the Me Too movement? Is this going to affect women moving forward? Is this going to cause women to say, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't come out about this, because then I'm going to be deemed a liar. Nobody's going to take me serious. And this could affect my career. This could affect my life. Or you know what? Even more, he's going to beat me even more. The Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial, in my opinion, has been bad for society, because this is done on a who do you prefer? Who do you like? I think we've gotten away from the whole, did this woman suffer mental anguish at the hands of Johnny Depp? Did he physically abuse her? There is allegations to that, where he headbutted her. But what we have learned throughout this duration of this trial is that they're both toxic. This relationship was nasty, filled with drugs, with lies, deceit. Amber Heard was recording Johnny Depp being erratic, throwing things, breaking things. Again, is this going to affect the Me Too movement moving forward? Is this going to affect women who have been sexually assaulted, have been physically, mentally, verbally abused, for them not to want to come out anymore? Why? Because I want to be labeled a liar. I want to be labeled an evil person, such as Amber Heard. I feel as if this trial has done a disservice to society, because we are saying that the man could possibly verbally abuse, could possibly say nasty things about the woman, and we're going to believe the man. Again, it takes two to tango. We understand that men could also be the victims of domestic violence. We're not arguing that. We have seen cases of this. But at the same time, as a society, will this affect us moving forward? Will this Me Too movement now be Men Too? Would this allow us as men to say, hey, I could hit my woman, I could verbally attack her, because nothing's going to happen to me? I hope not. But it seems as if that is the trajectory that we are going. Why? Because of situations like this, where two high-profile entertainers are put on that stage, and we get to pick. Oh, I like Johnny over Amber, and she must be a liar because Johnny's cute and beautiful and she's not. Are we beginning to see the end of the Me Too movement? I hope not. And housing news. If it's not inflation, if it's not baby formula, if it's not the war in Ukraine, it seems as if life is getting a lot more expensive. And we, the common folks, the peasants, are the ones that feel the pinch as of late. Well, this has also affected the housing market. It is interesting to note that the 30-year fixed mortgage rate is now back at 5.3%. Now, while that has not been something unusual in previous years, here we see how back in 2009 we did have a 5.9, 5.3 fixed rate for the mortgages. During the COVID, it was down at 2.5, which was amazing. But what we have seen throughout the United States has been a surge in prices. Individuals now can't afford to buy the homes. Here in the city of Brownsville, Texas, we have heard about gentrification, how we have a lot of Californians now in South Texas because of SpaceX. We have seen homes in the barrios that usually would go for anywhere from $70 to $120,000 in the hood are now going for close to $220, $240 in some cases, depending on the square footage. Life as we know it is expensive. And what is even more expensive now is rent. Rent has gone up dramatically. And we all know right now we are during a time where it is a seller's market. If you do want to buy a home, if you do want to sell a home, it might be in your best interest to do so now. But then again, the question arises, where am I going to go? What happens with that? But we have seen since COVID, what has happened, the burden has been placed on the landlord. Why? Because during that time, the tenants were allowed to stay, even though they weren't paying rent. Why? Because of COVID. COVID affected us economically. Work shut down for many of us. We weren't able to make a living, and what happened? We got behind on our rent. There were assistance programs that were available, but at the end of the day, the ones who were stuck with the bill were the landlords. They were the ones that said, "Hey, man, I can't." I can't make it. And we have seen how areas, and here, most importantly, in Austin, Texas, we have seen a 46% in fast rising rents over the years. And if you ask anybody in Austin, Austin is very, very expensive. And they are also experiencing, well, the state of Texas, but Austin is also experiencing the surge in Californians in their state. And what happens? People see the Californians coming down. They think it's a California gold rush, and they hike their prices. Rent has gone up 46% in Austin, Texas. It has gone to a point where it has been difficult for people who live paycheck to paycheck. And just this past February, when the data was collected in the state of Texas, the average rent in Austin was $1,500. If you're looking at a one bedroom in San Antonio, $1,100. In Houston, $1,300. This is something that we have been hearing time in and time out. And the question that we like to pose is, when is the right time to buy? Prices are going up. Life is getting expensive. Is it my time to buy? Should I buy now? There are many things. That goes into the equation. Well, what's your credit score? If you have a 640, 650, 670, it is great. Why? Because you won't pay so much in interest. You'll get better deals, obviously. What's your cash flow? Do you have a good source of income where, maybe possibly renting is not in your best interest? There are many factors that go in to buying a home. And right now, many Americans suffer with that dilemma. You know what? It's too expensive to buy a home, so I'm forced to rent. And what happens with the landlord? They know, hey, man, you can't afford a home. So what am I going to do? I'm going to jack up the prices. I'm going to increase your rent by 11%. And in some cases, that's a couple $100. And again, down here, because of COVID, we do have a lot of individuals. We live paycheck to paycheck. We don't have the luxury of having hundreds of thousands of dollars and buying properties and flipping them or living in them, more importantly. So the question comes, should we rent or should we buy? And that is what many Americans right now are facing. I do encourage many Americans to see options available to them. If you're a first-time homeowner, they are programs available to you. If you're a veteran, you do have assistance and help if needed. But the question is, in Brownsville, should I rent or should I buy? Again, we all have different needs in our lives, but it would be a great time to see what options are available. And I recommend my community to seek out the services of Genaro Martinez with NRL Mortgage. He could be reached at 956-545-9858. And again, we all want options in life. We all want to know what we're able to do and what we can't do. During this time is very expensive. And by us renting, we are throwing away our money. What if I told you that there's somebody out there, Genaro Martinez, who could possibly make your dreams of being a homeowner into a reality? Again, many Americans are stuck with that dilemma. Should I rent? Should I buy? Many times it is in our best interest to buy. Why? Because, and I'm dealing with this situation right now, FOMO, the fear of missing out. Should I do it now? Should I do it later? Reach out to Genaro Martinez, see what options are available to you, because as we all know, as renters, we are throwing away our money. And if we purchase a home, if we purchase a property, a lot, we are investing, where in 15 and 30 years and 40 years, hopefully one day that will be ours in the near future. So you know who to talk to. And now for our feature story, Title 42. Title 42 was supposed to go into effect today, Title 42 is a ban on uh, immigrants being able to come and go freely into the United States. President Trump and his administration did enforce this law that because of COVID, because of the condition where the world found itself in, the United States found it in the best interest to not allow those travelers that were seeking asylum, that they halted all that for the time being. So it is important to note how a judge out of Louisiana did block the Biden administration's enforcement of Title 42, and we have already seen how the Border Patrol agents, law enforcement on the bridge, on the border, on the southern border of Texas, have been doing everything possible to prepare. The National Guard, DPS, have been in full swing, anticipating for this day. We did also hear of a rumor, which has been true, well, hasn't been confirmed as of yet, but the federal government is advising all Border Patrol agents, all ICE customs agents to release all migrants once they are detained. Why? Because there is not adequate housing. They do not have the money, the facilities for this. And again, you can just imagine the thousands of individuals that were slowly anticipating this day. And what do you think they're going to do? You think they're going to wait around for the federal government to do something? You know, the federal government does anticipate many individuals in thousands to take part. And this memo that I just showed right now, it was sent by the United States Border Patrol sector, asking for the migrants to be released. Again, overcrowding, lack of bed space, and this date was dated just a day before the judge signed it. We did have the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas in McAllen last week, and many of us have been very vocal and stated, "Hey, we feel as if the federal government has not been down here, has not been working with our local leaders to see what can be done." We've had Vicente Gonzalez be adamant and say, "Hey, that he does not agree with the Biden administration to lift Title 42." The Homeland Security, Mayorkas did state in McAllen last week that they do anticipate 18,000 migrants that would cross if this Title 42 was lifted. Again, we understand that this is a humanitarian issue, and while we realize that this country was formed on immigrants, we are also a nation of laws. And we all see how the spread of COVID, and now we have this monkeypox that President Biden recently stated yesterday that there's something to worry about, and we see how the Western world, it seems, is the one that is dealing with this. Again, this has arisen out of Africa, Western Africa, and they still don't know the severity of this. Again, so we did have it back in 2003, if I'm not mistaken. This outbreak, but again, COVID, monkeypox, Omicron. It seems as if nowadays there's a new virus, and now the world as we know it will never be the same. The world will never ever be the same, and you're to blame. Why? Because of all these viruses. The uplifting of Title 42 would cause a detriment to the health and well-being of Americans. And we have seen and have argued how the United States has been pumping money to Ukraine, and we feel as if Ukraine could be our next Afghanistan. That war, which many thought were going to be a couple of weeks, turned out to be 3 months and counting. Title 42, while we are in support of those individuals seeking the American dream, we feel as if it is not the right time right now for any administration to uplift this. Why? Because of the ongoing threat of viruses, of COVID, and now monkeypox. And that is the rest of the story. Amber Heard, Johnny Depp, are we beginning to see the end of the MeToo movement? We hope not. Is it better to rent or to buy right now? That is a question that many Americans are facing right now. If you have any questions as to the process, as to your chances, contact Genaro Martinez. Vasectomy is on the rise amongst men. Now it is not women who are taking control of their health care, but it's also men. Are we starting to see a rise in this because of abortions? And men, will you get a vasectomy moving forward? And Title 42 still in effect. We feel that we do have an ongoing problem with this virus. We have not been able to contain it as of yet. Society as we know it, the world as we know it, will never be the same. We are in support of the federal judge who did halt this. So this is in the court system, and it will take some time for us to get more clarity regarding Title 42. Guys, it is Monday, May 23rd, 7:37 a.m. Thank you for your time and your patience. Hope you all have a great day. God bless.